The debate is heating up tonight over how to solve Indy's growing violent crime. Elected leaders, police, and community members have been gathering this summer to come up with solutions. In fact, earlier tonight, faith leaders held a peace march to bring attention to what's going on. Some call the surging violence a result of a broken criminal justice system. So tonight, 13 Investigates is looking deeper into these claims.
Ashley was literally the life of the party.
Kayla and Chanel Richardson love to remember their sister Ashley the way she lived.
She loved to cook, and it was crazy because us growing up, she didn't want to boil water.
A year later, it's still too painful to think about the way she died.
Basically, she was a part of a domestic violence relationship, and we didn't know.
Ashley Richardson was just 29 years old when police say she was shot and killed by her fiancé. And her family insists Ashley would likely be alive today had Kendall Abel still been behind bars that night. Court documents show why he was here in the Marion County Jail. Just weeks before Ashley was killed, police arrested Abel for attacking her with a hammer. He faced several charges, including domestic battery with a deadly weapon. But he bailed out and left with a GPS ankle monitor.
Because you're telling me that my sister's life was worth $2,000. And just about anybody can come up with $2,000.
GPS monitoring, that doesn't keep him away from her.
There's page after page after page of examples of these.
Rick Snyder is president of the local police union. He says courts are relying too heavily on electronic GPS monitoring in Indianapolis, where nearly 4,000 ankle monitors are used on any given day, more than any other city in the country. The FOP also says when it comes to violent repeat offenders, bail should be higher.
We're very cognizant of critics who say, hey, that's the police just advocating to lock everybody up and throw away the key. Nothing could be further from the truth, and we've been very emphatic on this. When you're talking about low-level first-time offenders, sure, we welcome alternatives and providing resources and engagement that actually gets that person charted on a new course. But I think most any reasonable person could agree that if you have folks who are repeatedly committing acts of violence, just releasing them is not working, and keeping them locked up could not only save the lives of other innocent victims, but quite frankly, the offender themselves.
Snyder points to Oliver Wallace's story, a 24-year-old with a rap sheet for resisting law enforcement, intimidation, and domestic battery. He returned to jail this month on a firearms charge and left 2 days later after posting $1,500 bond. Just 48 hours after that, he himself became a victim. Shot and killed on the east side.
We are not in the middle of a public health crisis.
In June, the FOP called on elected leaders to stop allowing low bond or automatically releasing people who have a history of 11 specific crimes, including battery, stalking, and strangulation. Union leaders say people with a history of violence arrested for these crimes should have to pay more than $500 to get out of jail while they wait for their trial. Ashley's fiancé did not have a violent criminal history before the alleged hammer attack last year. Still, her family insists that incident alone should have kept him in jail.
They're getting slaps on the wrist. They're going to go out and do it again because they feel like they can get away with it again.
Kendall Abel pleaded not guilty to Ashley's murder. He claims it was an accident and he was trying to commit suicide. Scott, his trial's set for this fall.
What do the judges say about this?
Well, still waiting to hear back in Marion County, but a spokesperson for Indiana courts told me that, look, judges still review every person's case based on specific circumstances, including the offense, the criminal history, and other factors. They've essentially got to balance people's constitutional right to bail while keeping people safe. And I talked to the legal expert from IU about this, who told me studies show in general very few people are arrested for new violent crimes while they're out on bail. You can watch that interview online.
All right, Dustin Grove, thanks so much.
Yep.